because coming out this Tuesday, January 24th, is a day we wait for all year, every year. It is Oscar nomination day. So we're going to go through and talk about who we think is going to be up for the big awards come March. So make sure, one, you read Todd's article. He's already put out his final nominations. You can find them on our website, almostsideways.com. There's links for it everywhere there. Check out all of his predictions that he's had all throughout the year, because his first prediction for this was back in January. So you can check that out. I may try and call you out on some of those early predictions, Todd, because I'm impressed. This year you did a really good job, I think.
Thank you. Well, speaking of, my new article for next year's Oscars should be out tomorrow morning at some point.
Nice. So by the time everyone's listening to this, it should be out.
Yes.
Oh, okay. All right. Awesome. So you can see what'll be up for next year's Oscars.
Before this year,
next year's Oscars. Yes, I just quoted NFL 2K5, Todd. You're welcome.
Yeah, I know. I was thinking about that too.
That's a joke that only the two of us are going to appreciate. So we're going to look at the main categories. Todd's got every category. Once the nominations are announced, also be looking for our Oscar challenge on all our social media platforms and on almostsideways.com, so you can sign up for who you think is going to win. But let's get into this. We're going to start with Todd. You're going to start with each of these since we already know what yours are. Let's go with you first, and I want to hear. Let's start with adapted screenplay. Who are the 5 you've got up for adapted screenplay?
Okay, this is not the strongest category. I actually don't think that any one film is locked into a nomination. My front runner right now is Living. Second place, Women Talking. Third place, The Whale. Fourth, Glass Onion and Knives Out Mystery. And fifth place, All Quiet on the Western Front.
Impressively, you have had Women Talking in this lineup since January, Todd.
Yeah.
That is impressive.
Unfortunately, it has taken a huge nosedive, along with She Said. So
has.
The top of my predictions are not super strong from January.
All right. So Todd's got Living, Women Talking, The Whale, Glass Onion, All Quiet on the Western Front. Zach, what do you have?
I have 4 out of those 5. I have Glass Onion, Living, The Whale, and Women Talking. The one that I don't have is All Quiet on the Western Front, which I'm not quite as bullish on overall as Todd is, even though he's predicted that for a long time, and I think he's just sticking to his guns at this point. If I were to make
and I don't consider the BAFTAs to be an actual precursor anymore, but they absolutely adore that movie. It got like the second most nominations ever. So if the British are going to get behind that movie, then it seems like an easy one.
Okay, well, I'm going with She Said. I don't follow the other awards as much, but I feel like this is they're not going to give it a Best Picture nomination, but I feel like it needs some love somewhere, and it's been on people's radars for a long time, even though it didn't really make much of a splash. So it feels almost like an afterthought nomination.
That's not bad. So what I'm going with, I've got 4 of the 5 as well. Which one did you leave off, Zach?
All Quiet on the Western Front. Yeah.
Okay, I'm leaving off Living from Todd's his front runner. I'm leaving off
front runner. I agree with Todd about that.
And I'm taking some big swings because nothing ever goes as planned. I mean, everyone thought they knew what was going to happen last year, and then they didn't nominate Denis Villeneuve for director. So I mean, who knows what's going to happen? So I've got Women Talking, I've got The Whale, I've got Glass Onion, I've got All Quiet, and I've got Guillermo del Toro's Pinocchio in my 5th slot.
That'd be the first non-Pixar animated movie to get nominated in the category, I believe.
I mean, if it's going to happen, Guillermo, I could see Guillermo del Toro getting it. So,
is this one of the weakest Best Adapted Screenplay lineups of all time?
Potentially.
It's pretty bad.
Not that these are necessarily bad movies, but none of these are going to win Best Picture. And the reason why I think Living is the front runner is because it's by a well-known highbrow author, Kazuo Ishiguro, and that's the big, I think, draw of it. Not that anyone's actually seen this movie.
That is a valid point.
The guy
So,
who wrote Remains of the
Well,
Day.
Top Gun Maverick is a possibility, but I mean, it got like the scripter nomination and some other things. I mean, it
would be
it
if
still
it
seems
gets
like
this.
a stretch. I mean, it's like it would be like when Logan got nominated or something. It's like, really, but okay, I guess it really was that popular.
So speaking of that, Adam sent in his predictions as well. So he's got Women Talking, he's got Living, he's got Glass Onion, he's got All Quiet, and he's got Top Gun Maverick.
Okay.
So he's got that solidly, and he goes Women Talking 1, Living 2, Top Gun Maverick 3, Glass Onion 4, All Quiet 5.
So he's leaving off the whale.
He's leaving off the whale.
Okay.
This would be a good category to go bet on at the on Oscar night. I think we could get some good value on Living winning.
So Todd,
it's so wide open.
Your 5 back in January were Poor Things #1. Whatever happened to that?
It hasn't come out yet.
Hasn't come out yet. Okay.
Yeah, it's going to be a Christmas release or something this year.
So then she said to The Sun 3, which is what I was actually going to go see tomorrow or last night when I didn't go. Women Talking 4 and Lightyear 5.
Wow.
That aged well. But it made sense at the time, but
yeah, I mean, two of the Toy Story movies had gotten nominated for screenplay. I don't feel bad about that.
All right, are we ready for original screenplay? Because
screenplay.
I think this one's the easiest to predict of any of these categories.
Todd, you go first.
All right. I don't know what's winning, but my nominees are The Banshees of Inisherin, Everything Everywhere All at Once, Tar, The Fabelmans, and I have Triangle of Sadness as my 5th spot. Although there are a few other ones that could make it in, that one seems like the original, like a most original screenplay nominee.
Zach?
Yeah, I have the exact same 5. I mean, the more interesting question is what movie could make the list that we're not thinking of? Maybe After Sun, maybe Elvis, but Babylon potentially. But the strengths of those movies are not their screenplays necessarily. So I think this is the easiest category to predict.
Yeah, Adam and I both have the exact same 5 as well. And I was looking at it because it's like, okay, this is a pretty solid 5. I'm like, what could sneak in here? I'm like, no, Triangle of Sadness is the one that's going to sneak in there. And
have you guys seen that yet, by the way?
Yeah, it's absolute garbage.
I hated the middle part of it, but I liked the end. I thought it actually redeemed itself in that last act really nicely.
I have not seen it.
The middle part's pretty unwatchable, though.
I don't really get Ruben Östlund. Like, I've seen a few of his movies, and I'm never on the same wavelength as him.
All right. So yeah, I think we're pretty solid there. We're not talking as much about winners. Like I looked at this not necessarily who I think is going to win as my #1, but who I think for sure is getting nominated. Which I think applies pretty well to the next category we're going to talk about, which is supporting actress. Because I think the biggest lock is not necessarily the favorite. We have to see who gets nominated before we see who the favorite is. Todd, tell us who your 5 are for supporting actress.
Well, the only lock I think is Carrie Condon for The Banshees of Inisherin. And then after that, it's sort of like anything could happen. I have Angela Bassett for Black Panther Wakanda Forever. She's gotten nominated and won most of the places she has to. Hong Chow for The Whale. Jamie Lee Curtis for Everything Everywhere All at Once, although I'm not entirely sold on that. And Dolly De Leon for Triangle of Sadness. I think barely squeaks out Michelle Williams getting in for her supporting for The Fabelmans.
Michelle Williams is the conundrum of the entire Oscar season.
I was confused by why you even put her there. I mean, they're not lobbying. Is this like a Barry Fitzgerald situation? You know, you get nominated for the same role in both categories.
Supposedly when they put their ballot or they give them the list of performances they could nominate, they don't put leader supporting next to it. So that's how like Lakeith Stanfield got nominated for supporting because they didn't know, so people started voting for him there. But supposedly Michelle Williams is having a push to put herself back in supporting because it's looking like her getting nominated for Best Actress is not going to happen.
Especially after she missed the BAFTA long list. That's really what made it feel like there's some category fraud going on and it's splitting her vote. So, yeah, spoiler, you'd have her not getting nominated anywhere. So, which is fascinating. Zach, what are your 5? Oh, actually, before we do that, really quick, going back to original screenplay, Todd, back in January, you got
Oh, boy.
2 of the 5, or 2 of the 5 you have still in there. You had Banshees and you had Tar back in January. Your other 3 were Babylon, which still might get in there. Men,
Yeah.
because it was Alex Garland, and The Lost King. What was that?
Yeah, I don't know what happened to that movie. It was I think that's like a Stephen Frears movie written by like Steve Coogan or something.
Oh, wait. Did I just see a trailer for this recently?
I think it was nominated for like some British Independent Awards or something, but I don't know. I honestly had forgotten that movie existed.
Yeah. Zach, what are your supporting actress nominees?
I have 4 of Todd's 5. I have Angela Bassett, Hong Chow, Carrie Condon, and Jamie Lee Curtis. I do not have Dolly De Leon, even though she is the best part of that movie. Even you can admit that, right, Todd? I mean,
Sure.
she was really good in that. But I have instead Stephanie Sue. I'm not sure how to pronounce it, but I think like that movie's gonna. What's the shot that it could get 15 nominations? Like I would maybe take money on that. I could see the big, announcement.
I don't think it got on all the short lists. I don't think it could get that.
Oh, okay. Well, it's probably going to be the leader, right?
I don't have it as a leader.
Oh, okay. Well, it's certainly a contender. But anyway, I think I think there's been a lot of kind of emotional appeals over the last few weeks to include Stephanie Sue on the list.
Well, my rationale is she doesn't like she's the one that all the young people are lobbying for, but they're not the ones that vote for the Oscars. Like I think that there's a disconnect between that character and the people that are going to be voting for the Oscars. That's why I think they'll go with the champion of the movie, which is Jamie Lee Curtis. And I don't think they're both getting in.
The Lost King. I totally saw a trailer for this last time I was at the movies a couple weeks ago. Yeah.
Okay.
Stephen Frears directed, written by Steve Coogan, starring Sally Hawkins. It's about she plays a historian that is searching for the remains of Richard III.
Ooh. Well, it's a Stephen Frears movie, so it makes sense why Todd would have predicted it.
Exactly. All right, my 5. I've got Carrie Condon, I've got Angela Bassett, I've got Jamie Lee Curtis, I've got Hong Chow, and I have Jessie Buckley for Women Talking slipping in. I think one of the Women Talking ladies still gets in there.
Yeah, I would pick her over Dolly De Leon. She would be my 6th.
My question was, do I go with Jessie Buckley or do I go with Claire Foy? I'm going with Jessie Buckley because she's the repeat. She's already been nominated, where they seem to enjoy screwing over Claire Foy like they did for First Man.
Yes, it's because she's not American.
It looks like Adam has the same 5 as Zach, Bassett, Chow, Condon, Curtis, and Shu. So I feel like
in the Valley of Elah nomination out of nowhere would be Rooney Mara for Women Talking, because she's the one that they kind of like said that she was lead, even though none of them are lead. I don't think any of them has more screen time than anyone else, and she is one of the better parts of the movie. So it'd be interesting if they all like the first time she appears anywhere would be in supporting actress.
Todd, do you still feel as though Carrie Condon is the front runner in this category?
I've always thought that she kind of was the Tilda Swinton and Michael Clayton of this category, where it's like, I mean, the movie's going to win somewhere, and she's a very, very good part of a great movie, and I think that she's a uncontroversial winner. So I think that's what they'll go.
And I think if like you said, I think Carrie Condon is the only lock, is the surest lock. But if Angela Bassett gets in, she's winning.
I would agree with that. I think you gotta go with the lifetime achievement. She gave a good speech at the Golden Globes. I guess the question would be if those highbrow voters don't want to give it to a Marvel movie, but this is more than just a Marvel movie. I mean, it is the first poached Chadwick Boseman Black Panther movie. So I don't know.
I think the lifetime achievement vote could go to Jamie Lee Curtis, though. So I don't.
Yeah, but she's. I mean, I don't understand the love for that. I don't understand the love for that movie. But she's like only in that movie for like I want to say 10 minutes, right? I mean, her scenes are kind of spread out, but like she hasn't, except for putting on a lot of makeup and a fat suit. There's not a whole lot there.
The difference is she's going to be happy to be nominated because she's never been nominated before. Angela Bassett's been nominated before, and her award will be getting the win. That's what I think. All right, supporting actor Todd. Tell us.
What were mine in the January?
Oh yeah. Yours back in January. Your winner was Gene Smart for Babylon.
Yeah, that could have happened.
It could have. Then you had Gina McKee for My Policeman.
Wow. Did anyone see that?
I still haven't seen that.
Then you had Zoe Kazan for She Said, which was more of a lead performance. Greta Gerwig for White Noise. That's not a bad stab. And then simply not knowing what the movie was going to be, you had Daniel Deadweiler for Till.
Yeah, at least I sniffed that one out. I didn't know that she was actually going to be the focus of the movie. Yeah,
she is the movie. All right. Supporting actor Todd, tell us who's losing to Ke Kwan.
Yeah, it's going to be the weirdest Best Supporting Actor winner I can think of. Ke Kwan
it is the biggest lock at the pre-nomination lock that we've had in a long time. I feel like.
Probably,
except for, like
especially
last
this
year
category.
Best Actor. But, okay.
Well, yeah, okay, fine, whatever. Go ahead, Todd.
Ke Kwan, I have winning, and then I have Brendan Gleeson and Barry Keoghan for Banshees of Inisherin. They're both locked for sure. And then I have Paul Dano for The Fabelmans. I'm not 100% sold on it, but I feel like his two performances this year are going to get him in. And then I have Judd Hirsch with the Judi Dench and Belfast nomination getting in the fifth spot, because after everything, I still feel like Eddie Redmayne feels like a snub. Like I still can't picture that being called on nomination morning. It seems like The Little Things, or like the Jared Leto movie. I don't know. It'd be such a weird supporting actor nominee. So I got to stick with Judd Hirsch, but I don't feel good about it.
Well, especially because that means you've got two movies double nominated in the category. That just feels weird.
I think I heard Come to the Stable was part of the last time that happened.
Well, then it's got to happen. We got to make it happen.
All right, Zach.
I have the exact same 5. And mostly I have it just to piss Terry off that Judd Hirsch will get nominated, because that was something that offended him so much about that movie, and that it now has to happen. It can't not happen, right?
Well, and now people are saying, "Oh, Judd Hirsch is going to get in over Paul Dano." It's going to be
I think he's more
Judi
likely
Dench
to get
getting in over Katrina Balfe last year for Belfast. Yeah, I don't know. I've Adam's got the same 5, by the way. I took a swing. I left off Judd Hirsch, and instead I put Brad Pitt for Babylon in the last slot.
See, then that'd be another really weird nomination too.
I don't know. It feels like he needs the follow-up nomination after his win. It's about as meaty of a performance, potentially even more meatier of a performance than the one he won for. So
I love Todd's comparison of Eddie Redmayne to The Little Things. I think that's a great way of looking at that movie, which no one has seen because it's streaming. And the only one, I mean, it's really just about that 5th slot. And the only one that I thought about was Ben Whishaw, because Todd, of course, predicted him because it would be on brand for the Academy to give it to the only man in Women Talking, which was a great comment, 4-star comment by Todd. So, but I just can't do it. I don't think that movie has had any sort of traction with the Academy. It's got to be one of the more disappointing Oscar campaigns of this year.
All right, Todd, you want to hear how you did in January?
Yes.
Your winner in January was Tobey Maguire for Babylon.
I mean, his teeth were pretty awesome.
If his part was bigger, I think it could have worked.
It could have worked. You didn't know it was the Alfred Molina of the movie yet.
No.
Then your runner-up was Bill Murray for The Greatest Beer Run Ever.
Ooh.
Again, taking a swing on hoping the part was bigger. I could see it.
Yeah.
Third was I feel like is another one that's the exact same thing. Stanley Tucci for I Want to Dance with Somebody.
He's in that?
He plays Clive Davis.
Wow.
Yeah. He discovers Whitney Houston. Then you had
I feel okay about that.
yeah. Then you had Rami Youssef for Poor Things, which, as you said, still hasn't come out.
Yeah.
And your fifth slot went to Judd Hirsch for a movie called Showing Up.
Wow.
What, the Kelly Reichardt movie? I don't even know if that came out. Or
I don't know if
anyone's
it did
seen
either.
Banner year for Judd Hirsch. Gooey is
Uh,
back in the mainstream.
Then you had Judd Hirsch winning in October. So this is your third iteration of your nominees. And at least in October, you knew a little bit of what was happening. You were shooting completely blind back last January. Okay, supporting actress, Todd. What do we see happening here?
We just did supporting actress.
Or sorry, no, not supporting actress. Best actress. That's what I meant. Best actress.
So I still have Kate Blanchett winning for Tar, and then I have Michelle Yeoh getting nominated, of course. And then after that, it gets a little murky. I have Viola Davis because she is like the queen and she's always going to get nominated. Ana de Armas for Blonde. She's gotten nominated everywhere she has to. And Danielle Deadweiler for Till, which maybe I should flip those two, but it doesn't really matter. I think they're both getting in. I think this is pretty secure. I still don't think Michelle Williams getting it.
Zach, what do you got?
I have 4 of those 5. I have Kate Blanchett, Michelle Yeoh, Viola Davis, and Ana de Armas. In my 5th slot, I have Michelle Williams.
I have Blanchett and Yeoh. They're locks. They're in. I've got Ana de Armas. I've got Michelle Williams. And my 5th slot, as you were describing Viola Davis, you could have said you were describing somebody else. And that's who I'm going with as a surprise nominee on nomination morning, Olivia Colman for Empire of Light.
So you don't have Viola Davis getting in or Daniel Deadweiler?
Nope. Nope.
I mean, they both got SAG and BAFTA nominations. It would be kind of amazing that neither of them would get in.
Yep.
But that's why
it happens.
You're drinking that Stickman beer. You got.
I'm taking the shot. Yep.
Okay.
You got to take a shot at it.
Liquid Courage.
She gets nominated whenever she's in a movie at this point, and it is her showiest performance since The Favorite. I mean, she got in for The Father. She got in for The Lost Daughter. I think I don't know. This movie has been completely forgotten, but I can't think that Olivia Colman has been completely forgotten.
What about the late surge for Andrea Riseborough?
Yeah, I've heard about that.
It'd be like a Charlotte Rampling nomination or something.
Yeah. I don't know. I had to take a swing. That's where I went with Michelle Williams still getting in for a lead, and then I'm going with Olivia Colman.
It wouldn't shock me because with Andrea Riseborough, because I think they're all corrupt assholes. And you're telling me that we went 12 out of the 13 weeks of Oscar voting, and just on that last week, everybody decided to vote for Coda, and that's why Coda won. I mean, they're all corrupt. So I could see them saying, oh, let's listen to Kate Winslet and all these people on social media praising her, and let's be trendy. Let's give her a nomination. I think it's in play. I think it's more likely than Olivia Colman.
So Adam has one on his list that we haven't even mentioned yet. He's got Blanchett, he's got Yeoh, he's got Viola Davis, he's got Michelle Williams, and then his 5th slot goes to Margot Robbie for Babylon.
Wow. That's kind of out of nowhere, but not impossible.
Also a repeat nominee. I mean, she's been nominated before.
Yeah, and it had the SAG ensemble nomination, so if they want to give it to somebody in there, I think it's more likely than Brad Pitt getting in. So I don't know.
I mean, I feel like they had to give the SAG ensemble nomination to it since like the entire SAG community was in that movie.
True.
Terry, isn't your argument fraudulent that they just love Olivia Colman, but somehow they don't love Viola Davis? I mean, can't you say the exact same thing about Viola Davis?
Yeah, that's what I
For
said.
a movie that more people saw?
You could say it about both. I don't know. It just feels like Olivia Colman is more the it person right now than Viola Davis is. I don't know. She's been nominated more recently. I don't know. It just feels right. There's nothing British about what we have in this list. There's got to be a British presence.
That's true.
Yeah, I don't know. Banshees isn't set in the UK or anything. I don't know.
That's Irish. It's very different. All right. Back to January. Todd, in January, you had winning Carey Mulligan for She Said. So you mixed up who the lead and who the supporting was there. By the way, she could also be that fifth spot in supporting actress. Carey Mulligan could still sneak in. She got a BAFTA nomination. You had Naomi Ackie for I Want to Dance with Somebody, which felt like it could happen until people saw the movie. Kate Blanchett for Tar. You had Sally Hawkins for The Lost King, because you thought, yeah. And Regina King for Shirley.
Which didn't come out. Okay.
So,
wasn't there a movie with Shirley with Elizabeth Moss that we reviewed once?
Yeah. A few years ago.
That's right.
She was a writer of some kind.
I remember that. It was she was a real life writer. I just can't.
Yeah.
She wrote The Lottery. Shirley Jackson, I think, was her name.
That sounds right. Todd, Best Actor.
All right, so there's 4 that are going to happen. They are Brendan Fraser for The Whale, Austin Butler for Elvis, Colin Farrell for The Banshees of Inisherin, which any of those could win. Bill Nighy for Living is also absolutely getting nominated. And the last one, I've heard about like things where I think it's been like 60, 70 years or something since all 5 in this category were first-time nominees, but I'm going with it anyway. I'm going with Paul Mescal for After Sun. I think that, like Tara saying, needs some British presence, even though it was a big hit with BAFTA. I think he still has a better chance than anybody else below him. A lot of those just don't seem like. I can't see Tom Cruise getting nominated. I can't see Hugh Jackman getting nominated. Paul Mescal.
Well, I have Tom Cruise in that 5th slot, but I don't know. It feels like he should get in. By the way, we also talked about how that we thought that 5th slot in supporting actor potentially could be Colin Farrell for the Batman, and give him the double nomination. That would be fascinating.
That would be fun.
Yeah, I've got Tom Cruise in that 5th slot, but you're right. There's 4 locks. What's interesting is this is really a 3-man race right now between Austin Butler, Colin Farrell, and Brendan Fraser. It's just going to be interesting to see which one gets it. Zach, what do you have?
I have the same 5 as Todd. I really want to be contrarian and not go with Paul Mescal. I want to go with like Tom Hanks or, maybe the guy from All Quiet on the Western Front or Adam Sandler. I can't quite do it because they announced that Paul Mescal is in Gladiator 2. They have to say in the promotion that it's Academy Award nominee Paul Mescal, and he does kind of have a young Russell Crowe vibe. I saw a movie with Russell Crowe earlier this year called Proof, and he was like Paul Mescal in that movie. He was like, 25, 30 years old. He looked like him. He acted like him. It's inspired recasting. But anyway, yes, I would love to say something outrageous. I'll leave it for the podcast. Actually, I do have an outrageous pick in another category coming up. So,
well, Adam has the exact same 5 as well. So we'll see. We'll see. Todd, we haven't been hearing your ELA picks. Your Tommy Lee, and you said it for supporting actress, and we got to give a little context here. Todd always gives the Tommy Lee Jones for In the Valley of Elah nomination, because that nomination came out of freaking nowhere. So the kind of makes sense if it came out of nowhere pick. Keep us up to date on those ones here, Todd.
Okay, well, so for supporting actor, I had Anthony Hopkins for Armageddon Time. Obviously, people just love Anthony Hopkins, and that movie has been forgotten. But if they're going to say something about it, it probably would be something like that. And for Best Actress, I have Vicky Krieps for Corsage, which she hasn't really gotten a whole lot of awards love, but neither did Penelope Cruz for Parallel Mothers or whatever. There's a lot of these foreign nominees that just pop up at the last second, or like Marion Cotillard for 2 Days, One Night. It could be one of those if they really like the movie, and that would be good for chance for its international film nomination. And for Best Actor, the one that Terry and I agree is like for the spirit of the award.
Yeah, absolutely
is the best chance, and that's Tom Hanks for A Man Called Otto. because in 2007, when Tommy Lee Jones was getting that nomination for In the Valley of Elah, he was SAG nominated for supporting actor for the bigger Oscar movie No Country for Old Men, and then he doesn't get nominated for that. He gets nominated for this movie that nobody's really seen, and that would exactly be this thing. I mean, although Tom Hanks isn't really getting that much love for Elvis, it is the big Oscar player, and A Man Called Otto basically nobody has watched. And but it's possible.
It's the fourth best movie of the year.
Yeah, exactly.
And our boy Clayton Davis at Variety, formerly of Award Circuit, has him as the fifth spot. Yeah.
Shout out.
So
it could happen. It could happen.
It's very possible.
All right. So Todd, looking at your best actor lineup from January, your winner was Coleman Domingo for Rusted.
Yeah, which still has not come out.
Your number two, we talked about fairly recently. It was Christian Bale for The Pale Blue Eye.
Yeah, that was a stab. I mean, Scott Cooper, it could have happened.
Number three still might happen. Hugh Jackman for The Sun.
Yeah.
Number four, Michael Fassbender for The Killer.
Yeah, that is the Fincher movie that has not come out yet.
Yeah, and then number five, you had Brendan Fraser for The Whale.
Well, at least I had that. Oh, yeah. See, this is the problem with my January predictions is that like I do have a lot of movies that end up not coming out because they're either like post-production and they never get released, or like they're like nearing the end of production and they don't get done in time. So I don't even consider them for the following January nomination. So I may have gotten a couple more of these if they were late released or something.
All right, director Todd, who are your five? Actually, no, let's start with Zach this time. We'll start with Zach because
Okay.
Go for it, Zach.
We're just switching it up midway through.
Why not?
All right.
Or we can start with Todd. It doesn't matter. Go with Todd. Todd, just do you. We'll go. You go.
It's more fun to respond to Todd.
Especially since we already know what his are.
I have three that I know are getting nominated. They are Steven Spielberg, even though he didn't get nominated or BAFTA or even longlisted. He's still probably the front runner. Then I have the Daniels for Everything Ever All at Once, which is weird because the only double or like co-directors that ever gotten nominated are the Coens, and they're not exactly the Coens, but they're being treated like they are. Now I have Todd Field in the third spot, Martin McDonagh for The Banshees of Inisherin. I only have him not as a lock because they have done this to him before, but then again, they did do that to Todd Field and Baz Luhrmann in the same year, actually, for Best Picture nominees. That's kind of weird. And then my fifth spot, I have Edward Berger for All Quiet on the Western Front, which was my front runner in October. And nobody knew what I was talking about, but now they do. And I now move him down to number 5 because I now feel like it is too known and he might not get in.
Zach, how about you?
All right. Well, Todd has to stick with Edward Berger. He's contractually obligated to. I agree with the other 4, the Daniels, Martin McDonagh, Todd Field, Steven Spielberg. Now, the 5th pick is interesting. How many of these categories is the 5th pick the most interesting for? I mean, in many ways, that's the most intriguing part about this year's Oscars. You got to go with a Powell Pawlowski pick. You got to go with something obscure, foreign, highbrow. Park Chan-wook would fit the bill. S.S. Rajamouli for RRR would fit the bill. Even Darren Aronofsky in a way. Here's who I'm going with. And you can make fun of me all you want when it doesn't happen, but hey, it's a 1 in a million stab, and if I get it, I'm going to look like a genius. I'm going with Oliver Hermanus, the director of Living. Doesn't that seem like a highbrow pick, Powell Pawlowski type pick out of nowhere?
Yes.
We've seen picks like that before.
Who is that? Oliver Hermanus?
I don't know.
Who is that?
Never heard of any of his other movies.
Well, it's like when Hamaguchi got in last year too. I mean, it just kind of.
He was in a Best Picture nominee.
True.
Yeah, I mean, Powell Pawlowski is the most obscure one. I mean, even with when Vinterberg got in, like there was the foreign film nominee or front runner. So it's like, I don't know. This would be definitely out of nowhere. And I'm kind of for it though. It does sound right. He's South African. He's 39 years old, so he's not exactly an industry veteran.
You heard it here first. Clayton Davis, friend of the podcast. You heard it here. I deserve credit if this happens.
All right.
Yeah, Clayton Davis, by the way, his fifth spot I noticed the other day was Ruben Ostlund, which also
That's another one that fits.
which yeah, if you're, I mean, there is something to be said about just understanding what it's like to hear the nominations on nomination morning. It's like, of course, Antonio Banderas' name was going to get called after everyone said it wasn't going to. It's just something about it's like, of course, that's the Oscar pick. Ruben Ostlund does kind of feel like one that like he would take Martin McDonagh's spot or something.
So I have Spielberg, I have the Daniels, I have McDonough, I have Berger, and I have Todd Field getting snubbed for Baz Luhrmann.
That's good on paper, but it doesn't feel like the nomination process lines up with that.
Yeah, and Todd Field has
He's
gotten
missed out on too much stuff.
He is that like Euro pick. Like his movie feels like the Euro pick, even though it's even a bigger hit than that. But like I said, like Todd Field and Baz Luhrmann have never been nominated for Best Director, so who knows?
So Adam has the fifth spot. He's got Spielberg, McDonough, the Daniels, Todd Field, and he has the fifth spot going to James Cameron.
Yeah, I think we've all come to just realize that this is the Two Towers. They're taking this one off. They'll give it to him for the next one.
Yeah,
but I mean, it is James Cameron. Don't count him out.
Todd, back in January, your winner was Maria Schrader for She Said.
Yeah.
And you had Damien Chazelle for Babylon, which I don't know, still kind of feels like a good pick. Yorgos Lanthimos for Poor Things. Steven Spielberg for The Fabelmans, and Martin McDonough for The Banshees of Inisherin.
Wow.
Not bad. I mean, you were going for Poor Things, which never came out, but not bad. Not bad. All right.
Yeah, that was one of my better showings, I must say.
Picture. What do you got?
Okay, so looks like I have 5 that I think are totally locked in. I have The Fabelmans, Everything Everywhere All at Once, The Banshees of Inisherin, Tar, and Elvis. And then after that, the ones that I think are most secure are probably Top Gun Maverick. And now I'd say All the Quiet on the Western Front. And then I'm going with Avatar: The Way of Water, Babylon, and The Whale. And with its late surge and surprising box office, I think takes the last spot.
Zach?
Okay, I think I have 9 out of those 10. I have Avatar: Way of Water, Babylon, Banshees, Elvis, Everything Everywhere All at Once, The Fabelmans, Tar, Triangle of Sadness, and The Whale. What I don't have is Top Gun Maverick.
Oh.
I think that is the snub of the morning, and that is the big story of Oscar morning, is fans up in arms that Top Gun Maverick doesn't get nominated, and instead RRR sneaks in. Out of nowhere. Maybe justifiably, probably not justifiably.
Okay. Yeah, Top Gun Maverick, that does seem like something that would happen.
They want people to talk about the Oscars. They want to be highbrow. They are not going to nominate the summer blockbuster. They are too important and self-righteous.
Yeah, they're too busy nominating Avatar 2.
Exactly. Well, you can't give it to 2 of them. I mean, that's the other thing. There is one lane for the big budget blockbuster, and Avatar 2 occupies that lane.
All right, I'm going really far out there on mine. Well, let me tell you Adam's first, and then I'll go through mine. So Adam has The Fabelmans 1, Banshees 2, Everything Everywhere All at Once 3, Top Gun Maverick 4, Tar 5, Avatar: The Way of Water 6, Babylon 7, All Quiet 8, Elvis 9, and Women Talking 10. He sees Women Talking still getting it. Here's
like
mine.
Its only nomination?
One adapted.
Okay.
Yeah. I thought he gave. No, he didn't give a supporting actress to anyone. All right, I think there's 5 locks here. Like, I feel like more than any other year, we know, like, if it was a field of 5, the 5 would be Everything Everywhere All at Once, Banshees, Fabelmans, Top Gun Maverick, Elvis. Like, I feel like that feels like a secure top 5. It's what comes after
over
that.
Tar.
So, yeah, I would put Tar over Top Gun, but okay.
No.
I mean, I said before, like on the podcast, that I think Tar is more secure in director than it is picture. Like, I mean, it's one of those movies, but okay.
All right. Then I've got Tar, Avatar, and All Quiet. as 6, 7, 8. My 9 and 10, I'm going out there. Guillermo del Toro's Pinocchio and Black Panther: Wakanda Forever.
But why would they zag in that direction? If they're going to zag, it's going to be to not big blockbusters.
3 sequels?
Yeah, 4. Oh no, 3. Yeah, 3. And then 3 sequels. I don't know. It feels like, and I mentioned it was it last week that we did the top 10s? Yeah. It feels like this is a year where the art films underwhelmed. And I think I feel like the Academy is feeling that, which is why Top Gun Maverick's getting in. It's why Avatar 2 is getting in. It's why Elvis is getting in. And I think they might zag in that direction to show the art cinema kind of sucked this year. And it was the big budget stuff that really rocked.
It's not like you had one of those movies as your number 1 of the year or anything.
Well, I think that one's secure. I didn't love either. I mean, Pinocchio was pretty great. I didn't love Black Panther: Wakanda Forever, but
You
I
have
feel
Pinocchio
like,
getting a picture and an adapted screenplay nomination.
Yep.
The Pinocchio love.
Do I need to remind you that Nightmare Alley came out of nowhere and got a Best Picture nomination last year? Guillermo del Toro gets nominated.
Okay.
So, well, if that's the case, then why don't you predicting Bardo?
That's a great question too. No one's seen
Or
Bardo.
Viola Davis.
I don't know if anyone's seen Pinocchio. I mean, they're both on
Yeah,
Netflix. Who
That's a
knows?
good point. I don't know. Pinocchio kind of has some universal love by everyone that's seen it, though. Bardo has gotten very mixed reviews.
Well, yeah, but so is Babylon. I think they're in the same boat.
And I don't have Babylon in. You have Babylon in. I don't.
So if you were to categorize your picks as what's the biggest headline coming out of Tuesday morning based on your picks?
On my picks?
Sure, yeah, each one of us. What's our headline? I'll say my headline. You guys can think of yours. My headline is Top Gun Maverick snubs, lots of snubs, and everything all at once leads the nominations. And who is Oliver Hermanus?
My headlines are Tom Cruise gets nominated. Gets the acting nomination. And
It'd be double nominee because he's the producer.
Todd Field gets snubbed, and Black Panther's nominated for Best Picture. Again.
I have no idea.
And they love Guillermo del Toro.
I mean, I don't think I have anything too crazy.
You like All Quiet on the Western Front is a big winner in your picks.
Yeah, I have that as the second leader in nominations behind The Fabelmans.
It made almost every shortlist.
Yeah, I mean, I could see All Quiet actually getting in a couple places that I don't. So maybe this Netflix war movie could it win Best Picture? Maybe that'll be the headline. Could All Quiet on the Western Front win Best Picture 90 years later?
All right, Todd. Looking back to January, you know what your winner was.
Yeah.
It was She Said, which still sounded like a great idea at the time.
It was a great pick.
And for a long time it did. So number 2, Babylon. Number 3, Poor Things. Again, if Lanthimos came out with the movie, it would have been up there. Number 4,
he's got 2 movies coming out this year.
Number 4, The Lost King. You overestimated Stephen Frears a little bit there. Number 5, Banshees. Number 6, The Sun. Number 7, I Want to Dance with Somebody. Number 8, The Fabelmans. Number 9, Women Talking. And number 10, Men.
Women Talking and Men. And
That's what she said.
If
it had been called That's What She Said, it probably would have gotten more credibility in the Oscars.
Written by Sacha Baron Cohen or something.
All right.
Or Michael Scott.
Well, like we said, Tuesday the Oscar nominations are coming out. Early morning. It's appointment television. You gotta check it out.